tea.
No, a cup of tea.
I'm doing something a little bit different today. Not only have I got on the train for God knows how many years, but I'm fishing the River Wandle in South London, doing a little bit of float fishing today. I've got my whip with me and my float rod, so I'm going to do a little bit of trotting. I actually fished here for the Gudgeon a few years back. I'm going back before I drove, and there's some absolute monsters here. It's quite a unique river really. It's not the cleanest, suffers with a lot of pollution, but there's many species in here, some good ones too. I've caught the biggest minnows that I've ever caught out of here, and the biggest gudgeon. I was actually fishing for a record at the time, but it's just a pain in the backside getting the train. But it's a lovely winter's morning, pretty chilly, and I've got minimal tackle with me, tackled up to try and target some of these gudgeon. If not, it's just going to be a great day's float fishing, and fingers crossed we can catch a few fish and yeah, get back to my roots. I found a lovely little likely looking spot, a spot that I actually fished a few years ago for the gudgeon. It's a deeper run with an eddy on the near margin and the far margin, and it works perfect today because I have my little Acolyte 3-meter whip. I can fish this near eddy and maybe in the evening get a few trots along the far margin. If all goes well, maybe catch some bigger roach. I'm just going to ball some little bit of ground bait in the margin here. It's a nice sort of dark sweet ground bait. I've thrown in a few handfuls of red maggots. It's quite a clear sort of running river this, and I don't want to make it sort of very obvious to the fish that they're being fished for as much. So it's nice, dark and subtle, and should blend in nice with the riverbed. So I'm just going to get this bait in, a few little balls of it. I've dampened the ground bait off just so it gets down there. Usually you'd have it a little bit drier, but it's very fast flowing, so just want to get it down to the bottom. I haven't seen one of these for years. A little plummet, nice and simple way of getting the depth. I want to fish pretty much on bottom for the gudgeon, so it's going to be nice and easy to gauge the depth of the float and be fishing effectively. Well, first cast, I've got a lovely pint of fresh red pinkies here, perfect for the gudgeon. I'm actually fishing a little bit sort of more crude, would you like, a little bit heavy, because there is chub and barbel in here and I don't want to just keep snapping off constantly. I'm fishing 2.5 pound bottom and a size 18, but really and truly I'm after the Monster Gudgeon, and there are some monsters in here. But here we go, first cast. Out of all the minnows, I've caught the smallest one in the river. Well, there's some absolute monster minnows in here too. I'm just going to keep running the float through. It might actually be a little bit faster than I remembered, and I might have to get the Acolyte float rod out instead of the whip for a bit more control. But yeah, a few casts and a few nice minnows. What lovely little action. This eddy in the margin is like a real mini washing machine. I'm just running the float through a few times and seeing what I can pick up. Of course, some monster minnows so far, but it might be a little bit undergunned, this light whip setup. So I'm going to tackle up that Acolyte float rod, and the far bank looks like it's probably holding a few more better fish. So I'm going to have a bit of fun for half hour, get that set up and see if we can get our target species. So I've set the float rod up, tackled up with a decent stick float and a heavier bulk shot to try and get down to the bottom a little bit faster. I'm just going to give that far margin a run and through the middle and see if we can pick off a few better fish. Well, some absolute Goliath minnows. Such a beautiful fish, but we're still searching for that Monster Gudgeon. But it's great fun on that light whip. Well, this is like well into double figures of chublets that we've caught since being in a new spot. And didn't have any of these at the old spot, just minnow after minnow, so hopefully that gudgeon won't be far away. Well, after many chub when we moved, come to a different spot because we got plagued with the minnows. We finally caught a gudgeon. He's a nice one, but I've caught him probably 3 times the size of this little guy. But caught what we've come for, so I'm well chuffed. Probably got another hour or 2 of fishing left. Let's see if we can get him back and get a better one. What a great result. Well, that's a bit of a better one. We've had a few now, about 3 or 4 gudgeon. So seems like they've moved in for the evening. Let's get him back. And you never know. Still a very big gudgeon, but there is, like I say, some leviathans. So fingers crossed we can winkle 1 or 2 out. Well, had a productive evening's gudgeon fishing. A few better ones in the end, and really pleased with that. It's amazing what's in these urban little rivers, to be honest, and it's really brought some memories back for me. I'm going to get these back, have a little half hour, and then catch the train home. It's so convenient getting the train, to be fair. It's a lot quicker than driving, but yeah, let's get them back and have a good weekend, I suppose, this Friday evening. And what beautiful fish they are. Well, that was a lovely day's gudgeon fishing with some monster minnows thrown in. It's surprising what's really in these little urban rivers. Heading off home now, the light's fading and I couldn't really see the float. So yeah, back on the train and a quick journey home. It probably would take around 2 hours. We checked to see how long it'd take if we drove, and it's like 13 miles. But on the train, it's like half hour, so it's so convenient. But yeah, I'll be doing a lot more of this, I think, over the colder months, targeting different species. And yeah, had a lovely day.